Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Catholic Education Foundation podcast number 4. I'll be your moderator today. My name is Teague Rich. This podcast will feature the new presenting sponsor of the 32nd annual Salute to Catholic School Alumni Dinner event, Mr. Jimmy Kirchendorfer, along with Catholic Education Foundation President, Mr. Rich Lecklider. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
Hey, great.
Nice to see you again, Teague, and thank you.
So these are so fun, Rich, and I'm so excited to do these. Our numbers are growing fantastically, so we've got another great guest, so this should be another really good episode.
Yeah, exciting. Thank you.
So, Jimmy, you are the Chief Executive Officer of the Louisville-based ISCO Industries.
Yes.
Prior to becoming CEO, you also served as the company's president for 10 years and the general manager from 95 to 2000. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And Rich, Mr. Lecklider, the president of the Catholic Education Foundation and former chief financial officer of Kindred Healthcare.
Amen.
So, Rich, let's start with you. This is the first time that the Salute Dinner event has had a presenting sponsor. So exciting. Tell us about the event itself and how this sponsorship came about.
Yeah, it's a great story. We started in 1990 at this event as a way to kind of celebrate and showcase Catholic schools in this community, how great they are. And we did so by honoring some alums from the school who were rather distinguished folks in their lives. And the first year the event was held, I think we had 250 guests, and we lost $25,000. And from there, we're expecting for this year, our 32nd year, we're going to sell out the Grand Ballroom in the Gall House Hotel. We'll have at least 1,300 people there to be packed. It's become the biggest event of its kind in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, both in terms of the number of people we attract to it and the funds that we raise. Our goal this year, after we pay our expenses, is $1.35 million, which would be an all-time record. So we're working hard at it. We got a ways to go, but we're hoping to get there.
Incredible. And you know, obviously, Rich, we are entrenched in the Catholic world here in the Archdiocese of Louisville, and people plan their year around this event.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and we start working on it in the summer, right, for a March event. And Julie Baum in our office, Valerie Fowler, those two folks primarily run this thing, and it's just become this incredible hallmark community event for both Catholics and non-Catholics.
Right.
I mean, it's pretty amazing. Jimmy and Mark Kirchendorfer came to us with this idea of presenting sponsors. We didn't go to them; they came to us. They had been a big benefactor of this event for several years, in their company, ISCO Industries. And Jimmy and Mark reached out and said, hey, you know, what do you think about having a presenting sponsor at this event? What do you think about it? We never really thought about it, to be honest. And we visited with Jimmy and Mark and kind of worked through it. And what came from it is a 3-year commitment from ISCO and the Kirchdorfer families to invest in this event $75,000 a year for 3 years, which is super exciting.
Incredible. And Jimmy, we'll get to that here in a second. But let's start with your Catholic education. So tell us about your Catholic school journey here in Louisville.
Yeah, I started kindergarten at St. Leonard, grade school.
St. Leonard?
St. Leonard,
awesome.
Zorn Avenue.
Awesome, yeah.
I had a great experience there. Could walk to school. So I just thought that was just, you know, you get a little bit of independence. Or
Sure.
You can start walking to school and leaving when you want and all that. So it was a neighborhood Catholic school, which was great. You know, sports and Catholic sports were just, I have great memories of basketball and CSAA sports and the teamwork that taught me. And so my sister, my brother, and I went there, and then I went on to St. X High School, and I was a fourth generation, one of the first fourth generations, I think, that they had going through there.
Wow.
Which was really exciting, and had a great experience at St. X. I mean, it's taught me a lot. I grew up a lot. Got humbled. I thought I was a really good basketball player.
Yeah.
At St. Leonard, St. Leonard, you know, point guard, and scored points. And then I got to St. X and realized, wow, you know, there's a lot of other good players.
My senior year, 112 kids went out for the golf team.
Yeah.
That's when you know you're around some talent.
Right. So I didn't make the basketball team, but then golf came around. It was a spring sport then, and picked up that and played that, and that had a big impact on my life. But St. X was fantastic and prepared me for college. And I remember going to Miami of Ohio and not sure if I would be, you know, everybody talked about what a great business school it was, and I got there and felt so prepared. So I was happy to, and my brother went to St. X as well. My sister went over to Providence, Indiana.
Okay.
So, so we all had Catholic grade school and high school.
Awesome. All right. So when thinking back about your Catholic school experience, is there a particular teacher or experience that inspired you or changed the direction of your life?
It's hard to point at just one because there's so many. Like I said, I mean, I remember Miss Wathen, who just passed away like at age 90 something. We kept in contact with her, and she was fantastic. Third grade teacher at St.
Mm-hmm.
I can go through a lot of. It's interesting how you can remember. I can remember first grade, second grade. I can remember all my teachers, and St. X. You just had some teachers that were so dedicated to doing the right things, and they're dedicating their lives, their professional lives, to education, and that's impressive to me.
Extremely impressive, and we could probably do a whole nother show on St. X, being that we're all St. X alums. But the beauty of I'm going to go a little off script here, but the beauty of the city of Louisville is all the amazing Catholic school options, not only at the grade school level but the high school level, right, Rich? I mean, you would attest to that.
There's 39 grade schools in the diocese. I think 28 of which are in Jefferson County.
Right,
which gives you all kinds of options. But for boys and girls, there's 8 Catholic high schools in this community. That's an enormous, kind of inventory of choices that kids have. It's pretty amazing. And they're all different. They're not all the same. They're all very different.
So I got a phone call one day here in the office, and it was the entire Catholic Education Foundation staff, and they were so excited about this sponsorship. Okay. They were thrilled, floored, and we wanted to brainstorm on how to do this thing justice and how to really make sure that we give you guys the value that ISCO is putting in here. So obviously the entire ISCO organization is behind the sponsorship. Tell us about the company's history and how you got it to where it is today.
Yeah, we were founded by my father in 1962, so we're in our 60th year. And the company was really small, kind of a lifestyle business for my father, doing golf irrigation. Mm-hmm. And then my brother and I, we both graduated. He actually went to a Catholic college too at Dayton.
Oh, wow.
So he was more the engineering mind, and I was more business mind. So we kind of teamed up and kind of thought that was a good combination. And now we're 50-50 partners in the business. And we bought the business from my dad, a majority of it, in the 90s. And got involved in HDPE pipe, and that was growing.
Mm-hmm.
Really got out of the golf irrigation from a sprinkler standpoint, mm-hmm. from all that, and really focused on the piping and grew it. And now we have over 600 people.
Pretty impressive.
No, I told Jimmy this is a great story. It's kind of Humana-esque, right? It really is. Mm-hmm. I mean, this was started out of the back of a family hardware store, in 1962. It's now one of the biggest piping companies in the industry. And has a worldwide footprint. I mean, that's a pretty amazing story.
Oh, it's extremely amazing. So, Jimmy, why, obviously for you and your brother Mark, why is it important for your company to invest in the Catholic Education Foundation?
Well, Mark and I look, and it had a big impact on us personally. And I think that one of the things Catholic schools teach you in this area is the sense of community.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, you go back to CSAA sports, and you're in a community, and you go play St. Margaret Mary or whatever, St. Patrick, or and you just realize you have that common bond, and then St. X kind of brings that. So, and we've kind of run our company that way. We feel like in our company we're a sense of community, and I want people when they join us to have that. And you look, it's kind of funny. You end up hiring. We've always done best hiring kind of by word of mouth, and one person comes and loves the company and brings somebody else, and they only bring good people usually. They're not going to bring their friend that's not going to work hard. And then you also look around and say, we have a lot of Catholic alums here locally, and it kind of happened that way. And we have some that aren't, and some that transplanted here, but some that are. And it's something like, and I've had great experience with that. We hire people, and it's interesting. We have a group now of 2016 class of St. X. I think we have 4 of that, and
it's great.
Feel
just
old
kind
quick.
of funny, like, oh my God, they're, coming on board, and just other schools. We have a lot of Trinity people. We have a lot of Sacred Heart, Assumption, and it's just looking around, and we've gone to the Salute, the St. X Trinity luncheon that Rich has and his group has at the Galt House every September to the game, and that's always a fun.
It is.
Rivalry within the office, you kind of get back to the high school days.
Sure.
So the Catholic schools has given a lot to my brother and myself, and so we wanted to give back from that standpoint. And then we're just looking like, let's make this an ISCO thing,
right?
Not just a Kirchdorfer thing. It's been great to our family, but let's make it an ISCO thing, because I know a lot of people feel proud within our company. So it's hopefully something that they're proud of, that we decide to invest our money in.
It's fantastic, Rich. I've heard you say this several times. and I want it to be your words, but to the effect of the reason these companies need to get behind the Catholic Education Foundation is we're developing their employees of the future.
Yeah, we're creating a great moral compass in this community, which comes first. That's most important. But from that comes this workforce development initiative. It's what it really is, right? You want to produce the best graduates you can. And look, I've said this a lot before. I mean, a little 12-year-old kid who's in the 6th grade at St. Stephen Martyr, in 10 years, he's going to be interviewing with you.
Yep.
And if we can attract more kids to that journey, and particularly the ones that can't afford it, their lives change forever. There's no question about it.
Yeah, it was interesting, Rich. So I was with a family that we are highlighting as part of the Salute Dinner, and some great kids that came through St. Rita.
Yep.
One now, Jonathan's now at St. X. And he gave me a perspective that I thought was phenomenal. He said, I'm at St. X, and obviously there's a lot of wealth there. He goes, but I take the TARC to school and home, and I'm around a different demographic there. And he goes, and I think it makes me appreciate what I have a little bit more. Yep. And I go to St. X and I work hard, and I know what I'm going to be in the future. And I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to make somebody a great employee. I just thought that was fantastic, and it really is. And these are the people that Catholic Education Foundation is putting into Catholic schools.
Yeah, and we met this family 7 years ago when I first started at the foundation at St. Rita after a mass that we had spoken at, and they came up to us, and his older sister was going into the 8th grade, and her parents wanted her at St. Rita, switch over in the 8th grade, in the hope that she could go to a Catholic high school someday.
Right.
And they couldn't afford St. Rita. We jumped on that right away, got the kids in school. She is now a freshman at Bellarmine University.
Yeah, and killing it.
On a full scholarship.
And doing fantastic.
Yeah, after graduating from Mercy Academy.
It's exciting stuff.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's exciting stuff. So, Jimmy, I had the pleasure of interviewing your mother at St. Leonard. She is a very influential parish member at St. Leonard, and you haven't hit on this yet, but it sounds like your father was a big key player in really building that parish.
Yeah, he was. I mean, in looking back, I talk about how the Catholic schools really bring you into a community. So looking back, my father was the athletic director. You know, we started playing sports.
Right.
He taught us to give back, and he was running the fish fry, and he had me running the whatever bingo booth. Oh,
yeah, sure.
I think I was dealing showdown.
Right.
5th grade, I was, everybody puts up 50 cents.
Right.
Down in the house rakes their 50 cent per hand. But it just taught that community thing. So he loved that, and he gave back, and he helped fund the smart boards when they needed that, and the gym, and all that.
I've been told that the gym would not have happened without your father.
Thank you. I wish it would have happened earlier, because when I was there, we were playing in the cafeteria. But he did it. He did it after and he was just steadfast. He was going to get that done. But you watch him give back in his time on something like Catholic education. And at ISCO, we always had this thing that. And it's the first part of our mission statement, is to create long-term opportunities for members of the ISCO team. And it's not about creating wealth for the shareholders. That's not what we're about. We're about creating opportunities. So you look at that, what better way to create an opportunity for a kid than education? You're not giving them anything. I mean, just like that young man you talked about, he said, I'm going to do this and that. All you're giving him is opportunity. Now, he will decide his trajectory and his success through his hard work and commitment, but you're given opportunity. And that's what we do at ISCO. We bring people in. If they end up having a lot of success, it's nothing that I did or we did.
Right.
All we did was give them the job, give them the tools, and give them the opportunity. That's what we're doing. That's what Rich is doing. And I see, I really admire him after a business career coming, dedicating his profession to this great cause, as well as the staff of Julie and Kevin and the great staff they have there. Spending, they're waking up every morning with this cause. I'm trying to sell pipe and all that, but you see what they're doing, and I really admire that. So.
Yeah, it's fantastic stuff. So, Rich, to that point, what has your experience been with the broader business community in terms of gaining support for the Salute Dinner event, and more importantly, the support of the foundation's mission?
Yeah, when we started on this journey 8 years ago, most of our donor base was individual families like the Kirchdorfers or the Leckligers.
Right.
And we really started in earnest to try to meet with business owners. I mean, look at Jimmy sitting next to me. He's one of them, right? And we wanted to come to their company, meet with them, talk about what we're doing, what we're trying to accomplish over a longer period of time. Not only what it meant to the community and a family we're helping, but what it might mean for their business, as I talked about earlier. And we now have a tremendous and growing, we're not where I want to be, but we have a growing base of business supporters that's really, really awesome. And it's not the big company names. With all due respect, it's not the Humanities and Brown-Formans per se.
Right.
There are so many businesses like ISCO that are, homegrown companies in this marketplace that do really well, do great work. Their employees are awesome, and they want to give back too. And that's the large company support is great, but there's actually more opportunity for small to medium-sized businesses to join us in this endeavor. So we're excited about it.
Jimmy, have you seen that in the business world where obviously you guys are unbelievably successful, what you've done with ISCO? Have you seen that the way that you guys are creating opportunity and the way that you kind of have a family atmosphere, does that contribute to being successful? Have you seen other businesses maybe not do that and not be as successful?
Yes, totally. I mean, I think we're big into employee recognition, team member recognition, and creating that sense of community. The family atmosphere is a core value of ours. We realize people come to work to provide for their family.
Sure.
That's their reason, and we are a family company. So I think it has allowed us to think longer term. You see a lot of the bigger companies, publicly owned companies, that are living and dying on quarterly earnings.
Right.
And we just have the luxury with our ownership of my brother and I that, we're thinking a lot longer term.
Sure.
And sooner or later, it really works out well, and you create that same mentality with your people, because I only want long-term thinkers to come to work for us. If somebody's looking for a job for 6 months or a year or 2 years, I'm not interested in that. But people that want to make commitments for the long term and really be part of something special. Which
really kind of speaks to the fact that you guys are helping the Catholic Education Foundation, because you guys are investing into the future employees.
Yeah, and here's something else, Tig, that I think is really cool. And we've found this to happen over the years, but it's really happening in a bigger way now. Once the word got out about Mark and Jimmy and their team doing what they're doing for this event, we've had a number of donors to this event dramatically increase their support of it.
How
dramatically.
Cool is that? Yeah.
So that's just, and I told Jimmy when we did this, I said, you watch, there'll be more people either join us that weren't with us or increase their giving who are with us. It's happened in spades. It's pretty exciting.
Jimmy, obviously you guys are pillars in this community as far as giving back to the community. You're going to change the golf world here for the state of Kentucky. It's pretty exciting what you guys have done there. And I know kids who, I have a 12-year-old golfer, it's going to change his future. Explain to me kind of who instilled this sense of giving back that you guys have.
Well, I think, I saw, like I said, my father and my mother believe, when they believe in a cause, they get behind it. And back in the day, my father, a lot of it was just time. They didn't have the resources maybe to do a lot financially, but you talked about my mother in Providence. she went to Providence, and it's neat to see her get involved in the board and get back in the chapel that was built at Providence. She was a major donor for the new chapel. So you see your parents do it, and that really put it in. And I was fortunate. I guess a couple of things. The Catholic education was a big part of my life, and golf. My father put a golf club in my hand at a very young age. And you talk about people, and I went to Catholic schools because of my parents, and I learned how to play golf because of my parents.
Yeah.
And two things that had a big impact on me. So you think about what kids that don't have that.
Right.
If I wasn't as fortunate to be born with parents that cared about those two things so much, how can we help them get access to that? So I think it's the same thing. What Rich and his team's doing of, if people can't afford that, if you're not really committed, Catholic education is expensive, as we all know. All education really is when you look at a private school. So the people that might be on the fence there, not be able to do it, and what this foundation does is gets them in, and then we all know when you're in this community, you get hooked, and then it leads into high school. But same with golf. You get hooked on it, and
you do.
It's a lifelong obsession. I'm still trying to get better. I don't seem to be doing that, but I know my best golf days, like every other golfer, are ahead of me. So you always have hope. Teaches you hope. Teaches you to deal with adversity. And,
it does.
And disappointment. And so anyway, I want to, on the golf side as well, I want to give kids those same opportunities that I had, just fortunately because my father played.
Well, it's pretty exciting, and we thank you for obviously all of your work here in our community, and on the golf note, because we share that passion, we share that lifestyle. My father, who's 75, has shot his age over 100 times now. Pretty impressive stuff. So I aspire to that, right? But it's pretty cool. So, Rich, I know you've been kind of the same way, right? Obviously a pillar in this community. You're certainly a benefactor of the Catholic Education Foundation, as well as many other the Catholic causes around town. Who planted that seed for you?
Listen, I'm the fourth of 9 kids. A big family, a very Catholic family, thank God. And like Jimmy said, we didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have a lot of wealth. We did okay in terms of our finances, but it was a struggle. But the more important thing, besides the money thing, the time thing, the commitment, my mother and my father gave everything to St. Stephen Martyr Church and School. They did. And when I saw that, I mean, that's contagious, right? You're not going to forget that. You're not going to forget from where you came and how you got there.
Right.
And Mom and Dad were just prolific givers. They really were. Yeah. That's where I got it.
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it is.
It's pretty exciting.
I'm trying to do the same thing.
You know, I was thinking of something when you said that, Rich, and I hope this kind of maybe spurs a little bit of a different conversation. So I started in Catholic schools. I came over to Ascension in 3rd grade. I was at St. Matthew's Elementary until then. My parents were never Catholic and were never really involved in the church like both of you guys had mentioned. But when I came over as a 3rd grader, it changed my life. And I have stayed a Catholic and have been involved in everything you can imagine when it comes to being involved in the parishes, from being athletic director to running festivals and everything else. And it really changed my life. And I'm so thankful for that opportunity. And I was lucky enough to have that opportunity, but many kids won't have that opportunity if it's not for the Catholic Education Foundation.
Yeah, we got to do more. I mean, we're last fall we helped 3,400 kids. It was an all-time high with a record $7 million of funding. So that's a meaningful amount per student, if you will. We got to do more. Our goal is to grow in the next 5 years. We want to grow that number by 50%. And I think it's not just about chasing numbers and getting bigger. It's about changing more people's lives. That's what we're trying to do.
And it does.
Yeah, and it's the best thing that ever happened to me was St. Stephen Martyr School and St. X High School, period. And my 4 kids got that same opportunity through Holy Spirit School, St. X and Sacred Heart. I've got the last one going off the payroll here in about 2 months, which is pretty exciting. And they've all had that chance that Jimmy talked about,
right,
to do something special in their lives and to become something for others, if you will. And I'm working and praying every day that they do. But they've got
that opportunity, right? It's providing that opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk specifically about the upcoming dinner set for March 15th. Rich, what can our listeners expect from the 32nd annual Salute Dinner?
Best ever. Best ever. We got a great lineup of honorees that night. We're going to honor 6 Catholic school alumni. We're going to have a community service award. And we're going to present the Outstanding Catholic Educator Award. So there's 8 honorees at the event. And we've got Cardinal Dolan from New York, who's probably the best speaker I ever heard. He's our keynote. Yeah, he's going to bring the house.
Jimmy, have you seen him live?
Yeah, I have. He was at one of the events you had.
Yeah, 2016.
Unbelievable. He'll give you chills.
Yeah, he brought the place down.
Yeah.
And he's graciously agreed to come visit with us again. It'll be a huge night. Hopefully it's a record-setting night for our kids. That's what this is all about, to raise money for them. In terms of what we do, we're going through our awards right now for next fall, right?
Sure.
So you're applying to us for an award next fall. So this event is pivotal,
right,
in terms of our ability to answer that call.
Yeah, and providing that opportunity.
Bingo.
I mean, it's huge. So the Catholic Education Foundation was the presenting sponsor for the CSAA basketball championships the past 2 weekends. So we were able to kind of spread the message, and it's unbelievable how many people the foundation has touched. How many people would come up and just talk about it, or even ask questions, or say, is this something that maybe my family can get involved in? It's pretty phenomenal, and it's what this has done for the city of Louisville is almost second to none.
Yeah, we got to, and there's only 6 of us working there, right? So it has to be productive, but we really need to be a bigger beacon of hope for families that are scared to come see us just because they're afraid they can't do it, or they're going to fall through the cracks, or we're not going to support them as long as we should. And we got to create that message, the answer is yes, as a sign to them that we are in fact going to stay with them throughout the journey.
So, gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. As always, the foundation is committed to the growth and vitality of Catholic education in the Archdiocese of Louisville. If you or someone you know is interested in a Catholic elementary education but can't afford the full cost, please visit the website, ceflou.org. And as always, Rich, at the Catholic Education Foundation?
The answer is yes.
Thank you, gentlemen.
God bless, and thank you, Tig.